This is the Purple Passion Project with host and clinical sexologist, Dr. Stacy Friedman. This is your go-to podcast for raw, real, and irresistibly juicy conversations about sex, intimacy, connection, and everything in between. Whether you're feeling a little stuck in your love life, curious about what turns you on, or just craving conversations that actually matter, you're in the right place. So now, please welcome the host of the Purple Passion Project, Dr. Stacy Friedman.
What do you get when you mix purple, passion, and permission to be your true self? This podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Stacy, and this is the Purple Passion Project, coming to you live and unfiltered. It's the show where we talk sex, intimacy, connection, everything underneath the surface, because let's be honest, small talk is boring and you are ready for the good stuff. So relax, drop your guard, and get ready for some truth, laughs, maybe a few gasps, and a whole lot of passion. And today we are going to be diving deep into the world of curiosity, communication, and how asking better questions can lead to better sex. And that's something we all want. So we have author, educator, and intuitive guide, Laura Alyn, and she's also the author about All About Sex, which is about 1,000+ questions and activities to embrace your sexuality. And she's also the founder of the ILA Institute. Her work bridges spirituality, which I love, philosophy, and sensuality, which I love. So she's helping people rediscover desire, confidence, and connection through creative self-inquiry and intuitive exploration. So we're going to explore everything from sexual dreams, what they reveal, and how your Mars sign might influence your erotic blueprint, and why curiosity is one of the sexiest forms of communication. So we are going to bring Laura on. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Stacy. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome. I just love how everything blends together. So I'm really excited to hear all about it, especially because communication is so important when it's, dealing with sex and intimacy. And one thing that kind of attracted me to you was the book that you wrote, and Sex Full of Questions. I do a lot of TikTok lives, and I do a lot of questions, and everybody wants to know answers, but no one really knows where to find even the questions to ask. So why do you think that asking all of these questions are good for having amazing sex, and what kind of got you into doing all this?
For sure. So I think that curiosity is the number one thing that makes us feel alive. And so that's really what I do at the ILA Institute, is explore these different curiosities. And of course, sex is going to be one of them, because it's such a fundamental part about being human. And
Right.
the Ornellian is all about making luxury human. And so I think that having good sex is luxurious, and it is going deeper into who we are as people and learning about ourselves. And so that's why I wrote the book about questions, to really dive deep into who we are as sexual beings.
That's awesome. And so when we talk about communication, I know that a lot of times people struggle with even just knowing what to ask their partners. They struggle with just asking questions in general. And I think that if you're not able to talk about sex, you're really not able to have good sex or intimate sex. And I feel that the communication is such an important part of foreplay. And so how did you kind of come about that story, and how did you come about that interest in kind of getting the book together?
Yeah, I agree. I think that talking about sex is very taboo. And so, like, how do you even bring it up? But it's like, do you bring it up, or do you just do the same 3 positions for the rest of your life?
That's what people are doing.
Yeah. And so that's, like, again, like, why I wrote the book, just to really dive deep into who I am, and be able to explore sexuality in a not with no shame. So the book
Right.
starts off with asking questions that you could just journal about yourself. Like, you don't need to engage with somebody, because I think that in the moment, talking about sex could kill the mood. And so when you ask these questions for yourself and journal about them, and that's what the book is there to do, you're able to answer these questions, or you're able to steer in a different way. Like, oh, let's try this, because now that I've explored my different passions or different desires or different fantasies that I'd want to try, I could now bring it into the bedroom, and in a not confronting way, because I think that that's also something that gets in the way. But the book is also there designed to talk about it with a partner. So when it's someone else asking the questions, it's not as confronting or like awkward. And then it's fun too, because at the book you could just flip to some page. You don't have to go number 1, number 2, number 3.
Right.
So it just makes it more fun. So it's more of a game, and I think that that's what could also lead to good sex. So you're asking these questions, you're getting riled up, and then it could lead to something else, so that it's also more spontaneous.
No, that's awesome. And I think that sometimes even we don't know the answers to the questions that we're asking our partners. And so even for people that don't have a partner, these books, I think that ask questions allows you to look at yourself, allows you to kind of say, well, what is my answer? And how can I explore things more of myself? Because until we really know who we are, it's going to be difficult to really bring that to somebody else. And I think that the book that you wrote helps people do that as well. Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, when people also may have some questions, using a book rather than just asking questions like you mentioned, it's coming from the book. So it's not like, what kind of a question is that? Why would you ask me that? Because you're like, because the book said so.
Exactly. Blame it on me.
Exactly.
So like I was talking about too, that at the beginning, they're really easy questions. And then as you go deeper into the book, they start exploring past what's considered normal and more into how far are you willing to push your sex life, because there's so much taboo just around normal sex, but then there's all these other kinds of sex, like fetishes and different kinks that people have. And I really want to destigmatize that every kind of sex has its purpose, and it's just about having the right sex and the right purpose with the right partner, kind of thing. And I'm saying all these rights, but I think that's where I always go back to my intuitive self and really asking within to be able to know what is right, because what's right for person A, B, and C may not be right for me.
No, exactly. And, when you say, it's funny that you say so-called, I'm doing quotes in the air, normal sex. But one thing that is good to know, and like you said, you want to destigmatize, is that all sex could be so-called normal if you're able to talk about it, if you have 2 consenting adults, if you have people that are open to trying things. And just because someone might like something kinky doesn't mean that they're not normal. It just means that they're interested in something different. And the fact that you try to destigmatize that idea is great, because I think so many people have shame, and we need to figure out a way to get rid of that and that judgment to ourselves.
And the number one way to do that is to talk about it, is to bring it into this space of the mind where we're able to I feel like the mind is about analyzing. And so to analyze ourselves in a non-judgmental way, in a very loving way, where it's like, oh, you want to, let's try this thing. Let's try this other thing. Because like, again, if you just do the same thing over and over again, then it's not really going anywhere.
No, and that's boring. And like I said, we don't want boring. We want good stuff. We want the good stuff. And I know that some people have an issue with like, well, if we talk about it, it's not spontaneous. It's not exciting. It's not this, it's not that. People are afraid to kill the mood that they're in when they're asking all these questions. And so do you have advice on how people can use the book in a way that it's a little bit more intimate or sexy, instead of just sitting here going, okay, question number 1, do you have like any techniques that you recommend?
So my husband gets very overwhelmed easily, especially like questions like this. If I keep bombarding him with all these questions, he's like, okay, slow down.
Right.
And so what we do is 1 question a night. So just
Okay.
flip through it, just one question, and then we're able to talk about it. If it leads to something cool, if it doesn't, at least we were able to talk about something, and then we go to sleep.
I like that though, because then it takes off pressure to have to say, oh, well, let's look for something different or something different. It gives you an opportunity to say, okay, well, I have one question here. Let's really dive into it. If there's a different, a lot of different layers, because you can get to a lot of questions from one question. You could ask one question about what position do you like? Okay, well, what is it about that position? And what would you want to do in that position? So you can almost like make up your own questions from the questions, the prompts that you're offering.
Mm-hmm. And one of the sections, so there's different sections, and one of them is called this or that. So it's something easy like lights on or off, this or that. And from there, it could go into like, well, would you ever have sex with the lights on? Or would you do like, then it just goes on and on like that. And to then be able to expand the horizons of what the couple is now wanting to do together.
That's basically what my thought process was. And it's nice that you have the ability to do that, because I think that just answering a question with a yes or no doesn't always give you everything you need, but having the opportunity to expand on it really can help people learn really about what it is about the answer. I tell people all the time when someone will say, well, I want to do, I want to go have I'm just going to bring up a threesome, because this is a question that I get asked a lot. How do I get my partner to want to do it? I'm like, well, you can't just say, would you want to do a threesome? You have to bring up questions like, what is it about the threesome? What are you looking to achieve? What do you want from it? So you take one question and you could really build on it. So that communication is very important when it comes to questions. So what I wanted to add, yeah.
So in that same thing, so the way that I started like bringing that up was to like just joke about it, and then eventually it ended up coming up to really happening. And so, do you think that joking about it is a healthy way to do it? Because then it's like, oh, it's a joke. If they don't take it, right, it's okay.
Yeah, I definitely think that when you go into anything sex related lightheartedly, and take things that people say lightheartedly, you can have a much better connection and communication, because a lot of people are afraid to share fantasies. And I like how you have different things, like you said, fetishes or kinks in some of the questions, because if someone just said, oh, I want, and this was a common thing that I've gotten from a lot of men that actually would like to be pegged. And what that is a woman wearing a strap on or a dildo and doing the man from behind. And the problem is that a lot of the men are afraid to bring up this thing with their partners, with female partners, because they're afraid of being looked at as maybe they're gay, or shame that they might appreciate that or enjoy that. And so if you come into it with a sense of humor, with a lightness, and just be like, oh, well, what do you think about this? I saw this online. That might be fun. And kind of, hopefully your partner will be like, you don't want them doing that. You want them to be like, oh, really? Why would you, like you said, come from a place of curiosity. Why would you want that? And ask those questions. So humor for sure can definitely lighten things up and help people feel comfortable sharing. Absolutely. So how did writing this book change your own relationship, your own intimacy, and just even the way that you see yourself sexually?
Yeah, I think for me, it was very personal. And so I'm thankful that my husband has been very patient in my sexual journey, because I grew up in households where it was like, don't have sex, like don't get pregnant. Like it was very, very harsh. And so sex was always like a negative thing, a bad thing. And then when you're married, it magically is like, now it's a good thing. Now go have sex, go have all these babies. And it was a really hard shift for me. And so that's the reason why I wrote the book. It was a way for me to explore my own sexuality through asking questions to myself and figuring it out for myself. And then, like I said, now I've brought my husband into it. Now we ask the questions together. But now the book has been out for like 3 years. And so,
oh, wow.
So in that time, it has really helped me and my husband to be able to explore all these different parts of ourselves and kind of like when you brought up like with pegging, like to go to see sex not just in I'm the man and I'm the woman kind of thing, in a more like how can we flow together in whatever makes our bodies want to flow together, and to not have judgment with that. And so I think that we've really been able to create a space where whatever does pop up in our head, we are able to come to each other and share any fantasy that we have.
Love that. Love it. And on that positive note, we're just going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be back in 1 minute.
Are you looking to boost your energy, circulation, and intimacy? Flow Nitric Oxide Booster can help. As we age, nitric oxide levels decline, affecting circulation, energy, and intimacy. Flow restores these levels, promoting better blood flow to your brain, heart, and genitals. More blood flow means more pleasure for men and women. Unlike many supplements, Flow is made in the USA, ensuring high-quality ingredients free from harmful pesticides. Just take 2 small capsules daily for optimal results, especially in the bedroom. Get started with a free bottle for the month. Just cover shipping and enjoy 25% off when you subscribe. Experience the difference that natural ingredients can make. Your satisfaction is guaranteed, so try Flow today. For a healthier, sexier you, go to drstacyfriedman.com to contact her for your free bottle or check the show notes for the link.
Hey, everybody, we're back with Laura Alyn, and we are talking about her awesome book about communication, about questions that is so important to help our communication in the bed. But I know that a lot of people bring up sexual dreams, and I know that you talk about that stuff as well. And I was just really curious. I know it has nothing to do with your questions, but I know that it's something that you work with as well. And I thought that was really cool. So why do sexual dreams happen, and what do they actually mean about things that we might desire and need? Curious to hear this.
So I'm a dream interpreter. So all different kinds of dreams people have come to me with, and it's really cool because everything in a dream is a symbol for something else. And everything in the dream, even like the foreground, like the place, the things, everything is just a reflection of you. And so in sex dreams, it's a part of you that wants to be integrated into the whole. And so whoever it is that you are having sex with in the dream, whoever that person means to, whatever that person means to you, then that's the part of you that's being reflected in the dream. That is like, it's kind of like the squeaky wheel that's like squeak squeak, I need some more oil. It's kind of like that, where it's the part of our psyche that is trying to explain to us that we need this kind of integration with ourselves.
Very interesting. So if someone is like, I guess, dreaming of a person that they don't know, like an actor or actress or something like that, how does that, is it who they are as what they see?
It's the part of themselves that wants to be seen. So if it's so if it's a woman with a woman, it could be that you want the kind of fame that she has, or the kind of following that she has, the kind of life that she has, and like, how do you bring that into your life today? You don't need to wait until you're famous. You could do small things like, what would just to name an actress that came to mind, Sydney Sweeney. What would Sydney Sweeney do in this situation? Then that would be a way to like integrate her energy into my everyday life.
Well, what about, because I've had people that feel really bad, like they're cheating if they're, let's say, having a dream about having sex with their ex, or they have a dream of having sex with like a family member where they'd be like, what the, and I've heard people come to me with that concern. So how can people like take some of those dreams and interpret them without feeling shame and feeling like, oh, it's not really that I want to have sex with them, with that confusion. So how can someone kind of look at that in a better way?
So I'll go one by one. So with the ex, it's that there's some kind of unresolved trauma that the ex has left you with. And so or maybe it's like the part that you gave to that person that's like trying to find its way back to you. And so to really ask those questions like, well, like, what was I like in the relationship? What parts did I give away, and what parts do I want back, or what parts still stay true to who I was? So like really asking yourself like how you were in the relationship, and like how it ended too, and to really resolve that. And then with family members, we'll talk about parents first. So with parents, it's the father or the mother energy that you need, that your inner child needs. So the part of you, so let's say if you have daddy issues,
Right.
so it's what the father, like what you didn't get from your dad is now what you're wanting from yourself. And so if you have a dream that you're having sex with your dad, it's like what did you need from him that he couldn't give you? So now how can you give it to yourself? And then same thing with the mother. I haven't gotten too many, like going further, like cousins or aunts and uncles, but I feel like it would be around those same lines of what do I want? What would I want? What kind of love would I want from them? And then what am I not receiving? And so that's why the dream turns into sex, because we think that that's like the last way that we can have that kind of connection with the family member.
That makes sense. Yeah, because that's what I was trying to say. But why would it go to sex if obviously we're not attracted to the person, we don't want the person, or the person's an ex? But it makes sense because sex can be equated to love and connection. So, aha. Very interesting. So yeah, because I was very curious about that as well, because I've had some kind of crazy dreams, which I'm not sharing, but but yeah, it makes sense. And so people can just look at what they're missing from that experience and maybe make those changes within themselves, basically. Very cool. Very cool. And so what about intuition? I know that I've been told I'm very intuitive, and I know that you also work with intuition. So when you're dealing with sex or sexual expression or partners and people that you're wanting relationships with, how can you use your intuition, not just you, but everybody out there? How can you use your intuition to be able to have a better sexual experience or find better partners?
Yeah, it's really asking the question of within, like, what is it that I actually want? And so is it, because sometimes like casual sex is okay if that's what you actually want in that time, and then everything's going to always shift. And so going inside and asking intuitively, you're either going to get these intuitive hits, like it's like a voice in your head. So on my show, ILA Radio, I have people come on and tell me about their intuitive experiences. And so they get like little whispers or like an intuitive nudge, or some people have even like just stopped in their tracks, like their body physically stops. And it's the intuition, like on high alert, like do not go there, do not go
like
home
you
with
feel
this
it
person.
in your body. You literally feel that energy in your body. Yeah.
Yeah. But other things are just little whispers, and you might ignore it. And you're like, oh, it's just some anxiety. It's not real. But if you keep getting this urge and it's a whisper, that's what you have to really listen for. It's small and it's calm and it's quiet, versus anxiety is like, like the house is on fire, going crazy.
Right. Well, I know that for me, myself, I didn't realize how strong I mean, I always knew I had a little bit of intuition. I think we all kind of feel like we have some intuition, but
yeah,
a lot of
everyone
times
does.
I mean, we know we don't always listen to it. And I guess when people say trust your gut, I guess that's kind of like what people are saying, trust your intuition. But I know that over the last few years, I've really paid attention a little bit more. And I've spoken to a lot of intuitive healers and mediums and everything. And I would sometimes just get this message, which normally I'd bypass and be like, oh, it's probably just my thought, where it was actually someone saying something, and I was like, okay, I have to say this. I have to listen to this. All right. This is not a coincidence. And so I think that if people can really listen to some of those messages and stay away from the whole anxiety thing, we could definitely have better relationships, right?
And then going further, within, now that you have found a partner and you're in the middle of the act, now using your intuition to really listen to their body. And that has been one of like the greatest joys of being able to like really tap in, and it's not like his body is like talking to me, it's like the way that it moves, or like the way that like my intuition can just sense what his body wants and needs. And so then it's like new things pop into my head, and then I try, and it's like, whoa, like this is amazing. So it's like things like that, to like really follow your intuition and to really get deep into knowing who you are, because then the intuition can come louder, and it's not a little whisper anymore. Now it's like right there where you're so connected. And I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what sex is about, is to connect with each other and to be able to expand with each other.
Absolutely. I like how you said come louder, which I know you didn't mean it that way, but I had to, quote it that way. But, it basically just brings you back to being present, because so many of us are not present. We're not listening to, there's a mosquito, excuse me. Sorry. We're not being present. And so when you want to listen intuitively to your partner, like you said, it's not their body saying something to you, literally saying something, but physically, the way they move, the way they're breathing, paying attention to their moans. You can tell if someone is enjoying it, but so many times we're so focused on performance, and everything is so performance based, that a lot of times you're like, okay, is my penis working right? I'm not hitting that orgasm. And the female's like, oh, well, he's down there a long time. Maybe he's drowning. You're so focused on everything else and not just paying attention how things are feeling, how you're feeling, how your partner is moving. I think that makes such a huge difference in, I guess, training your intuition, or kind of helping understand it better.
So the questions are actually what really helped me, because I used to be so in my head, like, is everything okay? How is it going?
Right.
And asking the questions every night have really helped me not be in my head, because now the things that I would normally be like thinking or being weird about, I don't have to worry about it anymore, because we've already talked about it. So like I know we're good. And now I can actually just focus. And like you said, being in the present moment, I think that that's everything. That if you're not in the present moment, because even one time I asked him, like, well, what are you supposed to be thinking about right now? He's like, you're not supposed to be thinking.
You're supposed to be enjoying. Lay back and let me lick. Enjoy. So how can you tell sometimes the difference between, let's say, your intuition, or just, we were brought up to be people pleasers, or having sex as obligation. And so many times we're like, well, I should be doing this, or I'm trying to be nice. So sometimes, is there a way to kind of tell, is it like your body telling you a certain thing? How can you tell the difference, so you don't do something just because you're trying to please somebody else?
Mm-hmm. I think that's such a good question. The way that I'm going to answer is using astrology. Oh. And with astrology, the body rules over Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Okay. And Cancer is about emotions. So like emotions need to be there. Leo is about being seen. And I think that sometimes it's shifted and it's seen, it's like being performative, like that aspect. But it's really about being seen, because this is in the moment where you are your most vulnerable. You're sharing this intimate moment. You are naked with your body, but also with like your mind, your soul, your spirit, all the different parts. And so really needing to be seen, I think that is a huge part, because then after that is Virgo. Virgo is about giving. So if you're not feeling seen, if you're not feeling respected and loved, then you shouldn't be doing it. Then that's when you know that it's obligation versus you actually want to do it. Because with Virgo, it's giving because you want to give freely, regardless if they do it back. It's more of just, I want to give because that is how I'm showing you that I love you.
Yeah, that's a very good way to kind of analyze yourself in a way, and just say, where is this feeling coming from? Is it really coming from the heart, or is it coming from a different feeling? Very cool. Very cool. I love all this stuff about the intuition and everything, because we just don't listen to ourselves enough. And to be able to have really good sex, to be able to not be people pleasing and obligation, I think it's so important to just really listen to your body and listen to yourself. But on that note, we're going to take a quick little commercial break, and we'll see you back in a minute. More with Laura.
If you enjoy these podcasts with Dr. Stacy, imagine the results you can get from a personal coaching session. As a clinical sexologist and certified sex coach with over 2 decades of experience, Dr. Stacy helps people just like you reignite passion, explore their desires, and break through blocks that may be holding you back, solo or with a partner. Whether you're struggling with communication, desire mismatch, performance anxiety, or simply want to feel more confident and connected in your sex life, Dr. Stacy is here to help. She offers a complimentary 15-minute consult so you can see if working together feels right. Visit drstacyfriedman.com to schedule your free call today, and let's take your passion to the next level.
And we're back, and we were talking a little bit about astrology, which I thought was kind of cool, as a way of paying attention to your intuition. And, you know, being that you do a lot of astrology in your work, and you talk a little bit about the Mars sign, which I'd like to learn a little bit more about. And, you know, the Mars sign, you're saying, could actually tell people about their erotic or sexual energy. So how exactly, what can they learn from it? How can they learn more? And how do you figure that out?
So you can just look it up online to say like astrology birth charts, and you put it in, and then that's when you get your Mars sign. So your Mars is just wherever Mars was in the sky when you were born, but it really does share a lot of insights on who you are as a sexual being. And so, for instance, I have Gemini in Mars, and Gemini is the sign of communication. So, of course, I wrote a book about
There you
sex
go.
and confessions. But other ones could be like Leo. A Mars in Leo would be somebody that wants to be just adored and loved and cherished and just given all the compliments and all of that. Versus a Mars in Taurus. Taurus is more about sensuality versus sexuality, where it's more about being slow, and the slow movements is what makes the sex feel good because it's so slow and you can really dive deep into that pleasure. So that would be for a Mars in Taurus.
Now, when you're saying like the signs, you're saying Taurus or Leo, that's the month you were born? Or you're just saying, so where Mars was when you were born?
Yes.
Got it.
So yeah, so it's different for everybody. And they're not, there probably is something, it's probably like 2 months, like something like that. But I think you should just look it up and then see where you're at versus like a Mercury sign, which is about communication. So you should look at your Mercury sign as well. And that one is going to be either the same as your sun sign, as your birthday, versus like Pluto, which is generational. So if you're born between 1980 to like 95, then you're in the you have Pluto in Scorpio and you're a millennial.
I'm a Gen X. I'm old. So speaking of understanding our chart and everything like that, because I would like to I have to look up what my Mars sign is. But I'm sure that I've actually had someone on here a while back when I first started a couple months ago, a little bit talking about charts and everything and how it could help relationships. So how could like certain aspects of our chart help with, let's say, mismatched desire, trying to figure out why, you know, maybe who you can connect better with? Like, how can you understand it a little bit better?
So let's do Pisces. If Pisces, a Mars in Pisces would be somebody who likes to take it slow at the beginning, but once they're into it, they want to go really, really fast. Okay. And that might be different than Virgo. Mars in Virgo, that would mean that you show that you care by analyzing all the little details. And so that might be a mismatch if somebody wants to go like the timing isn't right, or like the different thing like acts aren't right. And so the way to match that, in that situation, those are opposites. So the person who has the Pisces would need to look at where they have Virgo in their chart and try to bring those elements into the bedroom, and then vice versa for the one in Virgo.
Got it. Got it. But what I was going to ask you is that we definitely don't want to not be with someone just because the chart may say, it's just maybe understanding people better.
Yeah, I think I got cut off for that part. So what I had recommended was to look at what you have on the opposite side and to work on those to balance it out more, because I think that astrology is just a way to learn about yourself, but it's not a way to make decisions. I wouldn't go to astrology to make a decision with anything. It's just to inform, but you're the one that needs to make the decision based on everything else. Astrology is just a tool. It's not something that needs to be, you shouldn't devote yourself to astrology, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I guess it just helps you understand better, or
Exactly.
maybe guide you better.
Mm-hmm.
And so what about things like, you talk about the earth, the air, water, fire, things like that. What exactly is that when you're talking about it in the terms of sexuality and arousal?
Yeah, so what I was talking about earlier with the different signs, so fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and those are the ones that have the passion, who want to rip the clothes off of you, and yeah, that's the fire. Then you have air. These are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. These are the ones that want to analyze and maybe in their head too much to not be in their body. But the analyzing part is good, because then that's how we're able to expand and to grow. Aquarius is naturally the sign of the future. And how can we shift to like what society is wanting us to do and like moving forward. And so Aquarius that's what it is like for the collective, but in the bedroom, it's how can we grow and explore each other. Then Earth. So the Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And these are the ones that want things slow. They want things structured. They have more difficulties opening up sometimes, depending on who they're with and who they're comfortable with and all of that. But I have seen that with those Mars signs. But they are also very ambitious, where they just want to please and they want to do things like that. And so the last one is water. And water signs are Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. And these are the ones that are full of emotion. But we not stigmatized, but we see Scorpio as this like really dark, seductress, like she-wolf kind of woman archetype. But Scorpio is more just that there's so much depth to a Scorpio Mars, where the more that you go deep into their sexual world, the more that they're going to open up, and like they're the sky's the limit. The Scorpio Mars go really, really deep.
That's funny, because I'm a Taurus. My first husband was a Capricorn, and my my husband now is a Taurus. And some of the things that you said fit me perfect, and some of the things that you said fit my ex perfect. So it's kind of like there were certain reasons why we did so well, but then there were certain reasons why we didn't. So it's kind of cool to kind of look at yourself and your relationship and understand it through astrology, through the signs. It's really neat.
And that's the cool thing too about astrology, is that people can be like twins. They're born, they have the exact same birthday, they have all the same placements, yet they're completely different people, because each sign has different qualities that each person will pick up these qualities and not identify with the other qualities. But it doesn't take away from the fact that they still have these qualities that relate to the zodiac.
Right. Very interesting. Interesting. We're going to take one more quick commercial break, and then we'll be back and finish up.
Looking to spice things up in the bedroom? Dr. Stacy's got you covered. From luxurious lotions to silky lubes and tantalizing toys, our collection has everything you need to turn up the heat and reignite that spark. Whether you're flying solo or with a partner, our products are designed to enhance intimacy and pleasure. Use the coupon code PURPLE and get 20% off your entire order. Visit drstacyfriedman.com, click the shop link, and explore our full range of goodies that are sure to bring out the fun in the bedroom. Let's make every moment more exciting. Dr. Stacy's Tantric Toys. where pleasure meets purpose.
We're back with Laura, and we were talking about astrology and all that. And, one of the things that I think that we had talked about before is using our intuition to be able to pay attention to our partners. And a lot of people cannot do that, and they find themselves disconnected and in their own space, in their own head. And so, do you have some suggestions for someone who might be feeling that disconnection from their sexuality? What is something that they can start with to help them feel more intuitive or more connected to themselves?
To find a safe space first, and then to just ask yourself why. Because when you ask why, it goes deeper and deeper, because whatever comes up, you ask why again, and then why again. And then eventually you end up crying. At least that's from my experience. And then once you're in that state of you're crying, it's that you're finally found what needed to be released. So then you do release it, and then the connection starts back up. And it is slow at the beginning. It's just needing to keep showing up for yourself and keep building up that trust with yourself. But I think asking why is that number one way to first start.
Yeah, I like that, because once you ask why, like you said, it might be a slow process because you may not allow yourself to truly answer why. And then when you realize you get to a question where you have no choice but to start getting a little bit more intimate with yourself and answer that why, that's a great way to really connect with yourself and put yourself in that safe space. I really like that. Do you have any myths or anything about sex or intimacy that people might say that you want to just kind of debunk and get people to stop thinking that way? Things about
the answer before was about the performative nature of sex, and so that's the one thing that I do want to clear out, that it needs to be however you feel, and sex is an act of you sharing the love that you have. And even if it's casual, you still have love for that person in some capacity. It doesn't have to be like this devoted marriage to share this love. And so I think that maybe that's where it is, that when you go down to it, like, why am I engaging with these acts? It's for the pleasure and for the self, like, gratifying. And it's not in a negative way. It's more of this is what aligns with me in this moment. And so I'm not going to see that as negative or shameful. I'm going to see that as something beautiful, because it was an opportunity that I was able to share myself.
And you just said, ask yourself why. So that's another, so asking yourself why can be really, really helpful to make sure that you're doing the right thing for you and for your body. And, and just because it may not be, like you said, a marriage, and it might just be a fun night out, that's how I met my husband. So, we were just wanted to be friends with benefits, and that was it. And, that was okay with that. And that was my why. It's just because that's what I wanted. Mm-hmm. So I love that. Before we wrap up, I want to put your information on the screen here. So if people want to reach you, you have your website, TikTok, and Instagram. And where can people find your book and possibly explore some of the other stuff that you do further?
Yeah, my book can be found on my website, but also anywhere that books are sold. So like Barnes & Noble, Amazon. If you just look up All About Sex, Laura Alyn, it'll pop up. And everything else is there on the website at The Ornellian. You can find my other ventures too. So we briefly talked about ILA Institute, but I also have a podcast called Grounded Spirits, where we look at dreams more and just go really deep into that. So yeah, those are the things that I'm doing.
Very cool. Thank you so much for such an awesome, thought-provoking conversation, and just kind of bringing us a little bit more into that spiritual aspect, because I'm very, very into the spiritual stuff. You're blending curiosity, communication, cosmic wisdom in the most delicious way. I love it. And your book reminds us all that asking questions is one of the most important and intimate thing that you can do to really get to know your person. So Really, really good job. I really love that. And so make sure everyone connect with Laura if you're interested in her book and all the other good stuff that she offers and her podcast. And thank you for being here, Laura. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Stacy.
No problem. No problem. So anyway, that is it for this episode of the Purple Passion Project, where we keep it real with just the right amount of spice. If today stirred something in you, let it. And if you loved what you heard, make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcast platforms and also on YouTube at Dr. Stacy Friedman. And if you're ready to go deeper, make sure you follow me all over social media at Dr. Stacy Friedman for resources, tips, fun adult products, and just for personal support. So until next time, stay curious, stay turned on, and never apologize for wanting more. Thanks for being here.
This has been the Purple Passion Project with host Dr. Stacy Friedman. Tune in each week as Dr. Stacy breaks down walls, busting myths, and gives you permission to want more with no shame, no filters, and definitely no small talk. Check in every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, on your favorite streaming platforms. We look forward to seeing you next time. Be sure to visit drstacyfriedman.com to learn more.